Welcome back to the Scare Value Podcast, a show where a film reviewer and his longtime friend have a casual, fun, and sometimes informative discussion about horror movies.
What the fuck's going on?
What are you talking about?
This
This is the Scare Value Podcast. It's June 18th, 2025.
I had a whole thing about water boiling because I just watched it boil, and it's not true. You can watch it boil, but now I'm confused because I don't know what you're doing. I had a bit.
I'm really upset we're going to miss that bit.
Okay.
Pete disproves that a watch pot never boils this week on Scare Value Podcast. Well, this was going to be an episode about 28 days later, because 28 years later comes out this week.
Right.
But I thought we'd try something a little different because kind of doing those 100th episodes we did, just, you know, it hammered home that thing where people really wanted this to have a format, and it doesn't have a format.
Okay. So what does that have to do with 28 days later?
We're going to do something different. I said, we're not doing 28 days later. Did you watch 28 days later?
Yes. And I have notes.
No.
I have my credit check. Are you telling me my credit check is no good, Brian?
I was unaware that you ever looked at the schedule.
Okay. Well, what are we doing?
We're going to do the most popular format that horror movie podcasts have.
See, I don't know any formats that horror movie podcasts have. So there's more than one. I thought this was a podcast, and I kind of take offense that there's no format, people say.
Well, that's what they say. But first, my name is Brian. I write movie reviews on scarevalue.com, and now I will introduce my co-host Pete, who I have known for over 30 years.
This is ridiculous.
Pete, how was your week?
What the fuck? Who cares? What? Who cares how my week? Hey, Brian, how was your week?
Oh, thank you for asking.
Oh, no.
Well, we're recording this early to get ahead of the summer months. So my week was taking place in April. Just that's important to know. Let me ask you this first. Pete, you'll be 46 when this episode comes out.
Okay.
But probably closer to 50 if you include the 10 months we spent in 1986 than the years you spent trying to repair the timeline.
Okay.
Have you started to get up in the middle of the night to pee yet?
I always get up in the... What? Yes, I do, Brian. I do get up in the middle of the night and pee. Multiple times sometimes, because I like to wait till right before I go to bed to eat my one meal of the day and drink all the water one person should drink before in a day right before bed.
Well, I don't get up still, and I'm starting to worry about it, actually.
So you just lay there and wet the bed?
I'm starting to worry about it, actually, because the other day, like 3 days ago, I woke up in the morning and I peed for so long, I thought I was going to be late for this podcast. That's some of the fun we have here on the Scare Value Podcast.
Good for you. See a doctor?
You know, I haven't seen a doctor since 1999.
I believe that has the ring of something true.
That is true. So, anything spooky happened to you this week, Pete?
No. No. Did anything spooky happen to you, Brian?
I mean, that pee thing was I was in there for a while.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie. I was in there long enough that I had time to think about, like, what if I never get to leave?
I had that pee after a movie once behind my mother's garage. It was a good long pee.
Yeah, I remember that day. Why do I remember that?
I think as you were there, we were holding hands while I did it. You were cheering me on. Go, Pete, Pete, pee, Pete, pee, Pete, pee. It was a really nice chant.
Well, last week was our Friday the 13th Part 7 commentary, which means the flat circle of time is caught up. And Pete, I can ask you to explain yourself about why you said Demi Moore was an Oscar winner. You told me that it hadn't happened yet. I had to bring it back around later. Now it's happened. It's out there. Pete has done it.
Demi Moore won an Oscar?
Anybody who doesn't remember, during the middle of our Friday the 13th Part 7 watch-along, which we recorded before the Oscars, that just aired last week, Pete declared Demi Moore Oscar winner. And I said, why are you doing that? What if she doesn't win? She did not win. And I've asked you to do a correction and apology on a previous episode. And you said, well, it hasn't happened yet. But now it has happened.
Oh.
And you give your correction and apology.
So she hasn't won it yet. That's where we are in the timeline?
It went about exactly as I thought it would. Now, at the end of this episode, Pete, I'm going to announce that special thing I've been teasing out for you that we're going to do this summer.
All right. I'm really weirded out now, to be perfectly honest. I don't know. What you're like committing to this what we're doing here. So this is a podcast. And you've been telling me now okay, something is weird. So the good thing, though, is that you have something for me. Not a sexual thing, I'm hoping.
I have then I have exactly one thing for you, and not two things like I thought I had.
I was going to make my Ben Grimm joke, but it doesn't feel proper in now this format.
You asked me what I did this week. Well,
You peed for a long time.
Since it's April, I went and saw some new movies in the theater. And I saw Death of a Unicorn. It's a thumbs down. I saw Woman in the Yard.
Hey, I saw that. Any good? No, I didn't see it. I saw the commercial. And I saw the poster.
I respected how dark it got. Did not expect it to be as bleak in its choice as it ended up being. And for a movie that got into the mainstream cinema, I was a little impressed that a PG-13 movie went as hard as it did at the end for what it ended up being actually about. And I don't think people liked it that much, but I think there's a pocket of us who respected that it took a darker swing than expected from a Blumhouse film.
Okay. Oh, Blumhouse.
And I also saw Hell of a Summer. That was pretty good.
I don't know that one at all.
It's a camp counselor getting slashed comedy. That was pretty good. The slasher parts didn't work that well, but the actual characters were good and the comedy actually worked. So they got what they were going for. And I saw Screamboat, the fifth Mickey Mouse.
There's 5 of those
There
now?
are 5 of those now.
Holy moly.
It's the best one of the 5. It felt more like a parody of Jason Takes Manhattan, which is why I enjoyed it as much as I did, to be honest. Because they're on a boat. They're finally on a boat. Took 5 movies for Steamboat Willie to get on a boat.
What was he doing the rest of the time?
I've seen 3 Popeye movies. None of them take place on a boat, even though he was the Sailor Man.
I don't remember a lot of Popeye cartoons taking place on a boat, though.
I don't remember Popeye cartoons because they're from the 1930s.
He hung around on the docks a lot. I don't know what that says about his character. There was the skinny,
I don't know what it says about Olive Oil's character.
Right, because she was there. And there was a guy who would always offer to pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Yes.
What's
his name?
For some reason, I think it's Wembley, but that can't be correct.
That can't be right.
No. And then there's
Bluto.
And he was...
And Castor Oil. That's her brother, I think.
Is it really?
Or her son. Maybe it's their kid. I don't remember. No, because why wouldn't it have Popeye's last name? Does Popeye even have a last name? Is it just the Sailor Man?
It's Man.
His
first name is his middle name is Sailor.
And
Sweet Pea was their kid.
Most importantly, I saw the trailer for a movie called The Accountant 2.
Ooh.
Which now adds to the lore of The Accountant for me because I couldn't avoid it.
Ooh, you have new knowledge.
Pete, I walked away more confused than I was when I started.
So you didn't immediately jam your fingers in your ears and close your eyes and start humming?
I am further away from understanding what The Accountant is because this appeared to be a buddy comedy romp. This appears to be a comedy. But I didn't get any hint of comedy from watching the last 7 minutes of The Accountant. Did you? I didn't. Not one.
There wasn't. No, not a laugh line anywhere.
This trailer was a comedy. It's like a buddy road trip with John Barenthal and Ben Affleck.
I know both of those people are in The Accountant 1.
Who I am now convinced are actually blood brothers, which we kind of figured out.
I thought they were.
I'm pretty positive that's true. But I have to say something about this Ben Affleck performance. Because this is the first time I've heard him talk, really, except for that exhausted thing he says at the end of the movie where it's like he's got 2 words, maybe.
Okay.
I don't understand if he's doing this to mock people with autism.
Oh, no.
But he kind of oscillates between doing an Abed impression
from Community,
where he talks very much like this because I have autism. But then sometimes he talks like Batman. And I'm so confused about the choice because half the time he's got the Batman voice. And then half the time he talks like he's doing an impression.
Remember I told you he has superpowers and normal accounting powers? I think you found the voices.
Before you finish, I want to point out Batman has no superpowers. Now continue.
It's close to superpowers. Like his giant brain, that's what the Ben Affleck with autism has, is this giant brain. But it gives him his Batman persona. And then when he's just a normal accountant guy, he's Abed. That's how it works.
I guess I was offended.
You were offended for
Not because of autism stuff, because he's such a bad actor.
I like Ben Affleck.
Do you? What's the last thing you watched and said, boy, he was good in that movie?
Reindeer Games.
Nope. You didn't say that once.
What movie did I see Ben Affleck in last? Probably one of those Snyder Batmans.
I saw him in the last 7 minutes of The Accountant.
Oh, yeah, that's what I saw him in last. That was right there.
And now on to the latest horror news. We're recording this over 2 months in advance, which makes this segment much more difficult to do.
Demi Moore is going to win that Oscar.
So the latest news at the time of this recording is the official trailer from the next movie from the directors of Talk to Me is now out.
I didn't understand a word you just said.
It's called Bring Her Back. And when you're listening to this, the movie's been in theaters for a few weeks.
How was it?
Not as good as Talk to Me.
Okay. I like Talk to Me.
Or
I like
better,
that movie.
or exactly the same quality.
That about covers it.
Yeah, I can't think of a fourth one.
It was all right.
Well, that would still be better or worse or the same.
It was purple.
Some big horror releases in the next 10 days, Pete.
Ooh.
As mentioned, the highly anticipated 28 Years Later comes out this week from Academy Award-winning director Danny Boyle.
I'm waiting.
Oh,
I did a whole page. I'm not going to talk. I'm a little upset. I did work.
And next week, the sequel to the Monster 2023 hit Megan joins theaters everywhere. We'll have more on Megan later in the episode.
Wow.
And a little more now. Pete, did you see the trailer for Megan 2.0?
Of course not.
It's batshit insane.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm give them
skeptical.
this.
I am waiting.
They're not just going to remake the first one.
I heard that she's an anti-hero kind of now.
She kind of was in the first one. I know that you have no memory of seeing Megan.
I remember some little kid tried to rape the Megan doll, and I'm like, what the fuck movie am I watching?
So him dying isn't bad. That's an anti-hero thing to do.
No.
So it seems like you've already known that she already kind of was an anti-hero.
I don't remember that movie. I'm not going to lie.
If you remember the subplot for the movie, well, that's okay, Pete, because we got more coming up on Megan later. The subplot of that movie, somebody had stolen the code. And
what code?
The Megan code.
Okay.
To sell it to a competitor. And they get that code out, and they create their own Megan. And then they have to bring Megan back to fight this Megan. And it looks
this sounds compelling.
It looks completely off the rails nutball stuff.
All right.
Where they've turned completely into the joke they know is there.
It kind of annoys me that I'm intrigued now and I want to watch because I know what I'm going to get. We're going to go see that, aren't we? Or we've already seen it.
I have to see it no matter what. And I just explained it comes out in 2 weeks.
No, but it came out already.
Nope. It still comes out in 2 weeks from when I just did the news. It comes out. This comes out in June.
Wait, so it's like a couple of years, a month away?
Well, I want to explain our format, but first, a word from our sponsor.
What? What?
If you're listening to this podcast, it's clear that you love horror movies. Pete, did you know that there's a website where you can get the latest horror movie reviews, an updated new release calendar, the latest trailers, news, and more? Scarevalue.com is your home for all things horror. Sign up for our newsletter and find all of that week's articles in your inbox every Sunday afternoon. And don't forget to check out their weekly podcast, available wherever you listen to podcasts. Scare Value Podcast, a show where a film reviewer and his longtime friend have a casual, fun, and sometimes informative discussion about horror movies. Every week, the Scare Value Podcast breaks down individual movies, looks back on entire franchises, settles in for one of our famous watch-alongs, or presents a special annual episode like the Scare Value Awards, the Christmas Spooktacular, the Nicolas Cage birthday celebration, or maybe even a little time travel. Scare Value Podcast has been listened to in over 65 countries, I just learned, with the new episodes available every Wednesday. That was a word from our sponsor.
Did you pay yourself to read that to yourself?
Couldn't afford to. No.
Scare Value, you say?
I can
a
tell.
Website. I've never heard of this.
I know that's true. Now, I know you seem to have been a little bit weirded out by the start of this week's podcast. And by start, I mean the first 15 minutes.
No shit. You're committed. I'm in. All right, I'm in. We're a podcast now. I don't know what we were before, but now we're a podcast.
This is our professional podcast.
Yes. So.
And the format that people really love from these horror movie podcasts is when hosts discuss the latest news, discuss what's going on in their lives, which we learned is nothing.
You take a long time to pee.
I did. I'm glad something happened this week. And I didn't even get into, like, I saw 24 movies at a film festival while dying of lung cancer or whatever I have. I don't know. People love podcasts where one person watches a horror movie and then explains it to the other one. That's their favorite format.
That sounds weird and stupid.
Well, I told you
not to rain on your parade here, but that's
it's not my parade.
Okay.
I watched a horror movie and told you don't prepare anything. And you were more than happy. I don't know why you watched 28 Days Later because I didn't tell you to do that.
Because I thought on the calendar.
Now, usually this is because the person's too scared to watch the movie.
Sounds like a kitty.
Yes, like that would have made more sense.
To have Kitty here?
To have Kitty on and then explain the movie to her. Because today I'm going to talk you through Terrifier 3.
I want to see that one.
That's not the format.
But, okay.
Now let's watch the trailer for Terrifier 3. We'll get Pete's reaction to the trailer as it plays.
Am I supposed to say anything? I can't hear it. What? All right, there's some lady.
A lot of people would really like to hear from you after all this time. Want to know?
They can't see any of this, Brian. It's a podcast.
Ooh, it looks spooky.
Is that Art the Clown? Is that his fingers? Ooh, sexy time in a shower. I like what I'm seeing. Is that the... Who is that? He's in a Santa suit. Good old Art the Clown. I've really taken a shine to this franchise.
It's a shame you can't watch it.
Look at, he's dressed up as Santa. This is good stuff.
Yeah, it looks pretty good, doesn't it? I bet you really wish you could watch it.
I do, Brian. You seem to be taking some sort of perverse joy in this. But I'm in.
We got a format.
Okay. Oh, look at him with this axe.
Why would he come back here?
You know what? I don't remember the first two movies so well.
That's a shocker.
Yeah, I know. A shocker like Art's a shocker. So, he was just a guy who killed a bunch of
She
people.
was a girl. Can I make it any more obvious?
And then she somehow... She survives the first movie?
She's not in the first movie.
She's not in the first movie, but in the second movie...
So
we meet
yes.
her. So she survived. I was right. And she becomes like an angel. Art has been dead many times now, and he just seems to be immortal. This is really gory and cool.
It looks pretty great, doesn't it? I gotta say, it's a really fun movie.
The effects, these effects are...
I think you really would have loved it.
Fucker.
Especially because you enjoyed the
Look
first
at
two.
this. Oh, there's the woman who clawed her face off and had his baby.
And then mentioned to me how much they were growing in your mind, how much you enjoyed them and were looking forward to this.
I didn't even know it was out yet.
Today you get to hear all about it. That's the format. That's what people want to hear.
This is what people... I'm not too scared to watch this, by the way. Like, I don't need to be talked through this.
And that was the trailer for Terrifier 3. Ooh, spooky stuff. Now let's get into our recap of Terrifier 3.
Please.
We open on Christmas Eve. A little girl wakes up her mother after hearing something she believes to be Santa Claus on the roof. The father's a grumpy bastard who has no time for the magic of children's Christmas. Their son is asleep in his room. The mother tucks her daughter back into bed and promises to set out milk and cookies for Santa Claus. After doing so, she notices the front door is unlocked and yells at her husband about it when she returns upstairs. She tells him to eat the milk and cookies before he leaves in the morning. He's a dick about this as well.
Okay.
We've got a long way to go. That is the opening setting of the opening scene.
So that's what this is? This one person reads a book to the other person, the other person just listens?
Hearing a rustling downstairs, the little girl sneaks downstairs, that's poor writing by me, to see Santa Claus by the Christmas tree. Santa reaches into his bag and pulls out an axe. Pete, you're not going to believe this. It's Art the Clown, dressed up as Santa Claus.
As Santa, that seems like so shocking and so provocative.
He climbs the stairs as the little girl watches from the other room. His first stop is the little boy's room. We only see the door, but the sounds of an axe hitting flesh and the squishing and spurting sounds that accompany it leave no mistake what happened in that room. Although now that I'm reading it, a couple things could have happened in that room.
You've not made this any better. And you know how normally when a child is murdered, I get really upset and I'm sad?
Well, this is why you don't have to see it. I'm reading it to you so you don't have to be upset and sad.
It worked. I have zero emotional reaction to the words you have just told me.
Although, I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Now that there's sexual abuse involved, I'm upset. So thank you.
Sant Art then heads into the parents' room. He immediately begins hacking the shitty husband apart as his wife sleeps next to him.
How do we know he's shitty?
He's been a monster this whole time, bitching about having kids and responsibilities and a job.
Oh, he's the same guy from the first part?
Oh, I could start over if you'd like.
No.
Woken by the noise, the woman finds herself covered in blood and turns to see what's left of her husband. Art mocks her as she screams. This is good stuff. You should have seen this one.
Okay.
Some of that classic Art.
Yep.
It's good stuff. She runs into her son's room where we see the bits and pieces that used to be Timmy.
Is it cool?
It's fucking cool, Pete. This whole movie's pretty cool.
All right.
Really think it's top tier stuff.
Okay. Good to know.
She runs downstairs with Art in hot pursuit. Locking the front door turns out to be her downfall as Art buries the axe deep into her back as she tries to flee.
How did he get in the house again?
I could start over if you...
No, okay. All right.
Well, the front door was unlocked, and then she locked it. So if I had to guess, I'd say chimney.
That would make sense. He is Santa Art.
Another... Santa Art.
Santa Art.
Another axe to the gut sees her inside spill out. Art cuts off the woman's arm before burying the axe into her head. He then sits down to enjoy the milk and cookies left out for the real Santa Claus.
Does he fight Santa Claus at some point?
You want me to spoil this for you?
No, please.
You're enjoying it so much.
I can wait the 20 minutes until we get to the part where you spoil it for me.
I hope it takes 20 minutes. Art finds the little girl hiding in a kitchen cupboard, and the movie cuts to its opening title. And we never find out what happens to that little girl.
She grows up to be that angel girl from part 2.
Nope, because this takes place in the middle of this movie, even though it took place at the beginning. I know that's already confusing for you. I'm just going to move on. We jump back. Well, it's going to get worse because we're about to time travel.
Hey.
We jump back in time 5 years to the aftermath of Terrifier 2.
And 5 years ago. All right.
I can start over if you want.
No, I'm sorry.
An officer is on the scene at the Terrifier attraction where they find Art's decapitated body. The body comes to life and quickly dispatches the officer. We cut to Art's body catching a crosstown subway, holding the officer's decapitated head atop his headless body so as to not attract attention. You'd have laughed so hard at the image of him just sitting there holding the head on there.
I didn't like these movies, too, at the beginning. Aside from the practical effects, I really didn't care for it. But then part 2 took
this
it
movie,
to this.
Top tier practical effects. Scare Value Award-winning practical effects. You would have lost your mind.
All right. Read your podcast.
Back at the institution from the Terrifier 2 post-credit scene, Chris Jericho, who on this watch I can confirm is a security guard, but still not much of an actor, hears a scream coming from the room of the Terrifier 1 survivor, Victoria Hayes. When he reaches the room, Victoria and the Art head she gave birth to are chowing down on a nurse.
Oh, that's right. And she has that clawed-off face.
Yes.
That's cool.
Art's decapitated body arrives, distracting Chris Jericho long enough for Victoria to get the drop on him. Art's body and Victoria rip the guard's face apart, and Art reattaches his own head. Luck is on Art's side when someone in an Art the Clown costume jumps onto their empty subway car. Now he has the missing costume pieces to complete his full Art the Clown look. Because this is Halloween.
I see. I don't remember.
Art and Vicky head to an abandoned house. Art pulls up a chair by the window in the attic. Vicky looks in a mirror at what's left of her face following Art's attack a year prior. It used to be so hot. Now no one would want to fuck you, she says to herself before breaking the mirror. Vicky slides into a bathtub and slits her wrists with the pieces of broken glass. Art rocks back and forth, staring out the window. 5 years later. You enjoying this?
This is what a podcast is? This is what a format is?
This is the most popular ones.
Someone just reads. Does the other person react at any point?
They say things like, ooh, that sounds scary. And ooh.
So I'm doing it kind of right.
I don't know how else you would react to it. This is the format.
Normally when I react when people are reading, they tell me to be quiet and don't disturb the others who are listening.
This is the most I've read in...
It shows.
27 years. Am I doing that poorly?
I don't know if it's you or the writing.
Oh, that hurts. It really hurts a lot. Greg, fuck. A man named Greg arrives at a mental health facility. Fuck you, man.
Who's Greg?
He's a man named Greg, arrives at a mental health facility to pick up his niece, Sienna Shaw, survivor of Terrifier 2, and the prophesized final girl who will defeat Art the Clown.
Yeah.
Sienna's brother and fellow survivor Jonathan is now in college and trying to leave everything that happened in the past. Sienna is going to stay with Greg and his family, including Sienna's Aunt Jess and their young daughter Gabby. Gabby's obsessed with Sienna and also an unrepentant snoop, which becomes a major plot point more than once going forward.
Is she still the angel warrior, or is she just like a person again?
She's just a person.
Okay.
Meanwhile, two demolition men who aren't Sylvester Stallone or Wesley Snipes arrive at the abandoned house where Art and Vicky have laid dormant for the last 5 years. They find Art and Vicky both sitting where we left them. Vicky and Art both awaken at the same time. Vicky quickly kills the man in her room and then watches Art dispatch the other. As Art bites off fingers and breaks limbs, Vicky uses a piece of broken glass to masturbate while she enjoys the show.
Ooh.
Blood spills from both Art's victim and Vicky's vagina.
Is she naked?
No.
Oh.
Sorry, man. Now you don't mind that you're not watching.
No, I'm just bored.
Gabby reads through Sienna's diary and brings back memories that Sienna doesn't want to discuss.
Who the fuck is Gabby? Oh, that Snoopy kid.
I can start over.
The Snoopy kid.
Well, at dinner with the family, Sienna is haunted by a vision of her dead friend Brooke from the previous film. Shaken, Sienna calls Jonathan at his school. His roommate's girlfriend has a true crime podcast and wants to have him on as a guest to discuss the Miles County Clown Massacre that he survived 5 years earlier. Sienna is looking forward to seeing Jonathan at Christmas.
Okay.
I look over and at the end of every paragraph, and he just looks bewildered, slightly annoyed.
That sums it up pretty well, but I'm in.
I think he's like, I hate this. I would have watched the movie, but also I had to do no work. So I'm torn between how much I hate this and how much I love this.
The problem is, I really want to know what happens next, and you're reading it to me.
Good news. Meanwhile, Art is working on new weapons, including a freeze gun that he uses to smash a frozen rat into meat chunks.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
It was awesome. As he's passing by a bar, he sees a man dressed as Santa Claus and excitedly enters to meet him. The Santa tries to put on a show for the childlike Art, but Art urinates while sitting on Santa's lap, which angers everyone at the bar. Their anger is short-lived, however, as Art pulls out a gun and kills the other men in the bar instantly. Santa offers Art his suit in exchange for his life. Art gets that suit, but ties the man to a chair before using the freeze gun on him. A hammer to various body parts shatters the man into pieces. The next freeze shot is to the man's face, which Art caves in with a hammer before ripping his beard off and tying it around his neck to complete the look. This is where the opening scene would then take place.
Okay, so now Santa goes off on Santart goes off to the house with that jerk dad, and then he does something bad to the little boy, and then he kills the mother and father.
And possibly the daughter, we don't know.
We don't know.
I'm going to say yes. I don't know why he wouldn't.
I'm going to say he got a phone call and had to leave, because that's way happier.
Sienna's aunt and uncle worry about her state of mind. I wrote this so counterintuitively the way I speak, which I wrote it for myself.
That's really funny, though, that you write differently than you speak.
Yeah, I know, especially when I'm writing it to speak it out loud.
Right, because I think I write how I speak.
Yeah, shitty. How's it feel, asshole?
Oh, I don't like it this way as much.
Why does it feel so good one way? It's so bad the other way.
Yeah, seriously.
Sienna's aunt and uncle worry about her mental state. Why did I write it like this? Sienna's aunt and uncle worry about her state of mind around Gabby, but also Sienna takes her to the mall the next day, so they're terrible parents. She hears the Clown Cafe song from the last movie and sees a man in a Santa mask and suit. Pete, you're not going to believe this. Is Art the Clown?
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow. I would have thought they'd do the misdirect first, where it's just a normal Santa.
Sienna meets Jonathan at school. His roommate is cool to her, but his girlfriend pesters her about that podcast until Sienna snaps and yells at her. Jonathan is surprisingly unhelpful given they went through the same trauma, but Sienna reminds him that he's the one who believed in all this shit in the first place. They decide she needs to return to the Terrifier and retrieve her magical sword from the last movie. Feels like a piece of evidence I'd collected first time, but whatever.
Someone should have. But
The means of the murder I committed.
if it wasn't her, the cops.
I know you're on the edge of your seat. He's leaning forward. He's so excited.
I'm in. I'm in.
Meanwhile, Art the Clown assumes the role of a mall Santa with a long line of children waiting.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
This is exactly what one of these podcasts is like.
Oh, no.
The first child runs up, and Art reaches into his bag and gives her
A candy cane.
a doll.
Boring. Sexist.
All the children run up, and Art hands out stuffed animals and boxes of gifts. He walks away before a boy unwraps his gift, a bomb that explodes, blowing up all of the children in Christmas Village.
Probably was pretty funny.
It was, but it was off-screenish.
Oh.
You see the flash and the loud noise.
That kind of makes it
No
funnier.
body parts flying.
It's all right. I don't need to see it. I can just imagine.
You wouldn't see it anyway, Pete.
I didn't see it.
Sienna returns to her aunt's house with a gift-wrapped box containing her magical sword. So that trip to the Terrifier was an off-camera deal.
Why did she gift wrap it?
So that she could hide it somewhere in the house without people knowing she had a sword because they think she's insane.
Okay.
And you don't let insane people walk around with magical swords. Gabby is curious.
If I had a magic sword, I'd show everybody.
You've been asked to stop doing that, though.
That's how I met Kitty.
No, I can tell people how you met Kitty.
I don't remember. Save it for another podcast. We're on a format here.
Gabby is curious what's in the box. But Sienna makes up some bullshit and shoos her away, telling her not to open it under any circumstances. But she's already read Sienna's entire diary at this point because, you see, she's a snoop.
That's what I heard.
Snooper's got a snoop. Art has arrived at Jonathan's college, where he walks right into the party Jonathan mentioned he was going to earlier, but does not seem to be yet. And I left that part out of the recap, and I'm only now just realizing that. I wrote that down. No going back. We next see him overhearing Jonathan's roommate argue with his girlfriend about the way she treated Sienna and Jonathan about her stupid podcast. This roommate is like an unexpectedly cool guy, which isn't a normal trait for characters like this. But he's like, girlfriend, you got problems. You got to stop being a bitch. And I've never really seen a character do that.
Just address an issue in a adult manner.
Yeah. It's like they have trauma. Please stop being horrible to them. It's interesting. I've never seen a character
You're supposed
do
to
that.
not tell the other person. Oh, that's a romantic comedy where you don't tell somebody just the simple thing and then you have a series of misunderstandings.
Art also overhears his girlfriend call Art famous and talk about how she'd love to look into his eyes and see what's behind them. Art is flattered until the roommate says that it sounds like she wants to fuck him, and she replies that she does not, in fact, want to fuck him. This makes Art sad. It's a great comedy bit. David Howard Thornton, always great in these movies. Maybe his best performance yet.
He's Art the Clown.
He's Art the Clown, and this might be his best performance yet in the role. God, you'd have loved it.
The trailer looked pretty good. He looked
Christmas
fun.
movie, fun art, killing everybody, great practical effects. This movie is like made for you. But instead we're doing this.
Yep.
Sienna hears about a mall attack on the news and freaks out. Greg agrees to go find Jonathan at school to calm her down. Sienna calls her brother and tells him to get ready to get picked up. They had a whole scene for that. Couldn't show her getting the sword. Showed her calling her brother to say he's coming to get you. She confirms that she's retrieved her sword from the Terrifier, which is important because we didn't see her fucking do it. It's a weird choice.
So couldn't we have cut her sneaking it into the house too if we're just going to have her explain it to us? We don't need to see any of this. How long is this movie?
A lot of criticism for a movie you haven't seen.
How long is it? I can be critical right now because I've just found 2 scenes I can cut out.
It goes 2 hours.
Yeah, there we go. I just saved us about an hour from what I can tell from those 2 scenes.
Art heads into a public bathroom where the roommate and his girlfriend are having sex in the shower.
Gross.
He pulls a chainsaw out of his bag. You watch the trailer and we're like, ooh, I like this. Daddy likey.
That was before it was a public bathroom. That's gross in there. You know, I heard a story about...
You know that was a private bathroom?
I heard a story about, they have the troughs at the Bill Stadium to piss into.
Yeah. People wash their hands in them.
I've heard that too. But a Jets fan got shoved into one and no one stopped pissing.
You got what he deserved. He pulls a chainsaw out of his bag and attacks them in the shower. He takes pieces off of the roommate and slashes his leg so it collapses under him when he tries to run. Very cool stuff. He cuts the girlfriend in the midsection and then stares into her eyes, filling her wish before she dies. Pretty cool stuff.
Was she naked?
Yeah, you don't see it, though. I don't know why they cast her. This is going to sound exactly as bad as it is. Just cast a girl that'll show her tits.
But that's not the movie anymore, right? This isn't a David Lynch.
If you're going to have public sex in the shower, just cast a girl that'll show her tits.
I don't think we make those movies anymore.
I think you can do it in Terrifier 3.
X kind of did it, right? Because they were making a porno? There was
Yes.
nudity all over that one.
Or don't set it as you did.
Yeah,
Having
like-
sex in a choose one or the other.
I'll agree with you. Don't titillate. Either go all in the horror movie style or just don't bother.
Yes. The roommate tried to crawl away, but is met with a chainsaw up the butt after Art pulls off his leg.
God damn, that sounds good.
He then flips him over and saws him from balls to stomach. Art takes a moment to do snow angels on the blood-soaked floor.
Aw.
This is the best scene for me in the movie. It's not as good as the bisection that you get in the
First
original.
one?
It's probably right on par with the one where he kills her friend, rips off her skin, puts bleach on her and salt in the wounds. That was a pretty good one too, because of how long it went. This was a good one too. But I think it would have been elevated if she had showed her tits. I don't know what to tell you. I'm an old-fashioned guy.
Seriously. I don't know why I said that. I'm as old as you are, and I want the same thing.
You want the same thing. You're not even watching the movie. Sienna comes downstairs thinking she hears her uncle talking in the kitchen. Pete, you're not going to believe this. It's Art the Clown.
It's Art the Clown. No, is it Santart or Art?
Santart. He's pinning Greg's decapitated body to the wall like a decoration, and the voice was coming from Vicky, who has the same powers as the little girl from the last movie, who I guess just isn't in this one. Art knocks Sienna out and ties her to a chair. There's a great bit throughout the rest of this. Every time Art passes Sienna as he walks around the room, he smacks her in the back of the head. It's funny every time because he hates her because she cut off his head.
Yeah, I get it.
Sienna's aunt is tied to the chair opposite her. A birdcage wrapped in newspapers on the table between them. Greg's head is on top of the Christmas tree like a star. They unwrap the cage, and inside is rats and a head they claim to be Gabby's.
Okay.
No reaction. All right. It works better if you see it, I guess. Something that we could have thought of before we started this format. Art shoves a piece of pipe into the ant's mouth and hammers it down. He then takes a rat and drops it into the tube, lighting its tail behind him to force it to burrow into her throat. And Art cuts her throat when the rat gets there. Just let it out on the other side. One of the coolest things I've ever seen, Pete.
Jesus Christ.
Vicky admits that Gabby's head isn't in that cage. Art reveals Gabby's fine, except now she's in the room with these two monsters. Art pulls out Jonathan's glasses, revealing whose head it really is. He points and laughs as Sienna rages from her chair. Vicky attempts to take possession of Sienna, but she's strong enough to fight her off when she hears Gabby crying for help. I don't believe they really killed Jonathan off screen.
I'm going to say yes.
I'd be surprised if they killed him off screen. Unless they revisit it in a flashback in a future movie, maybe they do. But it seems
I think he's dead.
quite unlikely to me.
Is there a fourth movie coming?
Of course there is. This movie made like $100 million on a $2 million budget. And it was
Jeez,
all
good for
funded by the
them.
guys that made it.
That is great. Didn't they do the same? They've had like
They turned
jumps in
down-
budget, right?
Yeah, they turned down many offers to make a studio to jump in and pay for it but they wanted changes.
Yeah.
And they said, no, I'm releasing it unrated and we're doing it in theaters. And then we made like $98 million or something like that on a $2 million budget, all profit.
That is awesome. Because it's worth it. That shows that you don't need this budget. You don't need a...
They started with a movie that made $15,000.
Yep.
And now look at them.
Wait,
Now
was
they're-
it 15 or 50?
I think it made $15,000.
Oh, it made. I
Yeah.
can't remember what it cost.
Because I think it just came out on like a couple of midnight screens at some point. It probably has made more now.
Oh, yeah.
But they started with a movie that nobody saw and people caught on to on streaming it later. And now
and then it was kind of a cult thing.
now
So
it's this massive thing that's like winning the box office as an unrated slasher movie.
and part two is just this is a classic slasher movie. It's the over the top creative and the actor. Like I think I've said before, I think he's like the newest of the, well, I guess
Absolutely.
Megan. Megan
No,
is-
this is not the same thing.
No, I
Especially
just-
because Megan 2 doesn't even look like a horror movie.
well, I'm looking for the icon, the franchise icons.
Well, as you can hear, but not see,
Oh.
they had another winner in this one. Gabby cries that Sienna never got to open her present, so Vicky lets her pick one out. It's the box.
It's a biatch?
It's the box Sienna brought back from the Terrifier.
What's in the box?
Because you see, Gabby's a snoop and already knows what's inside that box. She's just rewrapped it. Art takes a hammer to both of Sienna's hands before she is untied and allows her to open the present. Sienna reaches in the box. By the way, those broken hands never comes back. She's completely fine. Grips the sword.
I think the
fights him
sword
off.
heals him, right?
It kind of does have powers. The one thing about the sword is it can't hurt her. That's some of its magic, and it can defeat Art, apparently. Although it didn't really defeat Art, did it?
It inconveniences.
It inconveniences Art. Sienna reaches into the box, pulls out the sword, slicing Art's throat and throwing it into Vicky across the room. She shoves it through Vicky's mouth and cuts off her head, which I think does work on her because I don't think she's coming back.
Oh, no. Not Vicky.
Art runs in with the chainsaw, and Sienna fights him off with the sword. They both drop their weapons and fight hand-to-hand combat for a while. Art chokes Sienna, but she breaks free and impales him with the sword. A portal to hell opens underneath Gabby, forcing Sienna to abandon Art and try to save her as she holds on to the side. Gabby can't hold on, though, and falls into the abyss below before the floor closes up below Sienna.
That's a good one.
A portal to hell opens underneath Gabby, forcing Sienna to abandon Art and try to save her. I already heard that one. Gabby can't hold on and falls into the abyss below before the floor closes up below. Wow, I fucked it up on the same part. Oh, how do people do this? Gabby can't hold on, though. Nope. Gabby can't hold on and falls into the abyss below before the floor closes up below Sienna, taking Gabby and the sword with her. Nope. Taking Gabby and the sword with it.
You should use beneath instead of below the second time.
I should have had you edit this. We could have redefined this podcast format. Sienna vows to find her. Art has escaped during the mayhem. He sits alone at a bus stop and boards the next one that comes by. He looks sad until he notices a young woman staring at him. He pulls out his horn, smiles, and gives it a honk. Thus endeth Terrifier 3.
So it's a happy ending.
I guess.
I'm not sure who's my protagonist here, because now it sounds like a lot of this movie had to do with the Santart, and the rest was Sienna Shaw doing stuff off camera.
I thought this movie was really good. I recommend watching it. Especially if you're a fan of the first two Terrifier movies. What did you think, Pete?
I think I'm a fan of the first two Terrifier movies. Sure good to know. All these cool kills that I got to
The
look
coolest
forward
kills.
to.
It won best gore effects at the Scare Value.
Did it have the sweet 80s, like whatever the CGI stuff they had back then, with the lasers and the neon, like they did in part 2?
I don't remember.
Because at the end, the final battle in 2, like the sword had that like, it's a He-Man
No,
sword.
it didn't do that.
Oh, too bad.
My problems with this movie, I thought it was really good. 3.5 out of 5. I thought it was really good. It doesn't have an ending. Clearly just a cliffhanger ending to get you to the next one, which is fine. Do what you want to do. I don't give a shit. But it doesn't satisfy you in that way.
Right.
The other thing that made it at least more detached for me is that last movie, which I genuinely loved, it's fun because he's killing all of Sienna's friends and family. This movie, he's just killing random people he stops by. It's completely disconnected from Sienna until the last scene.
A guy's got to keep busy, right?
I know, but it doesn't feel... the first movie, he's after Tara and her friend, and he gets them. And then this second movie, he's after Sienna, and he's killing his way closer. And this movie, he's just killing random people that aren't connected in any way to the plot of this movie. So it did feel a little...
Right, because what are you going to do? You got a lot of movie time to kill, and it's... I don't know. I think that's what you do when you become big like Art is. He's got to kill everything.
He's got to kill. But I just wish
he was up to.
I wish there was just like a second group of friends he could have slaughtered.
Well, the people in the first movie were just randomly chosen, so maybe he's just getting back to his old ways.
Yeah, but he targets them completely the whole movie. There's not as many kills in that movie.
Oh.
In the second one, he's targeting Sienna, so all the people around Sienna die. In this movie, he still has to target Sienna, but he has to make his way back there, killing just no build up, just like, no, I'm killing you. I guess he does get her brother's roommate and stuff.
And he gets her brother.
Maybe.
I think he's dead.
He definitely got his glasses.
Yeah. So if he's not dead, he's wandering around like Mr. Magoo, and he's going to like fall into a cement mixer or something. And he'll be gone soon.
Is that every episode of Mr. Magoo?
I think so.
I feel like we're getting back on the path we're getting to our regular podcast here.
1960s pop culture?
I can feel the difference. Can you feel the shift that just happened?
I don't know what I was supposed to do this whole time.
You did it.
Perfect. Congratulations to me. I really want to watch that movie, though. I wanted to see it. And now you just told me.
No, you don't have to.
Now I don't have to.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm ready for 4.
Yeah, you are ready for 4.
I am.
You're welcome.
Problem is, I don't remember part 1 or 2.
Oh, I can start this.
No. So am I allowed to read my Nick Cage news? Is that allowed in these formats? Because it doesn't seem like it belongs.
Oh, that's a tough one. Well, let me ask you this, Pete.
Yeah?
This might be where you could fit it in.
That's what she said.
Pete, do you have anything to plug?
That's what she said. Oh, I do have something to plug. Where did I put it? Oh. Now, would you like this to be a knick-knack fact or a cage quiz? Hotshot.
I rarely get a quiz,
Okay.
so I'll take a knick-knack fact.
All right. Then, what I have for you is something else. Oh, no. All right. Did I tell you this one? In Japan, they have a what is it? It's some kind of snack, and it's called a umaibo Nicholas stick.
You did tell me
I
this.
did tell you that? I thought so, but I didn't scratch it off. All right.
I've never seen such unprofessionalism on our professional podcast.
See, I knew I can't handle this. All right. Well, these are all questions. Okay. We all know that Cobra's taught him how to act for Ghost
I think
Rider.
you've done this one too.
Yeah. But did you know he had a pet octopus that also helped his acting?
I think you did this.
How come it's not crossed off? Well, do you know what city Nicolas Cage lost his virginity in?
Verdunsk.
New Orleans.
I was going to guess New Orleans.
Were you really?
Yes.
You would have gotten it right then.
Damn it. That's the worst because he talks about New Orleans so much.
Maybe that's why.
Damn it. Fuck, I wish I could go back in time. I can. It's not worth abusing the powers to do. Plus, you'd have to go with me, and you would be the least surprised person, the only person who needed to be surprised. Next week. I know you're so excited.
At this point, I don't know
don't
what
think
to
we're going to do this
expect
format
anymore.
again.
Okay.
I think we're done.
All right. Whew. All right. That was rough and scary and stressful.
I think we're Verdunsk.
I don't know why that's funny. What are we doing next week?
Next week, as I mentioned, a movie comes out in theaters called Megan 2.0.
I went from excited back down. So what do we get to? We get to watch Megan?
Well, you said you didn't like just hearing about movies.
Oh, no.
So we're going to do a watch along for Megan 2023's Megan.
The one that has a 3 in the title instead of a letter?
M3 Gan.
M3 Gan?
M3 Gan.
All right. You know what? I think this movie sucks.
A movie that you've bitched about
I know.
since about 2 weeks after seeing it, but not when you saw it.
What did I think about it when I saw it?
Do you want to guess what you said?
Pretty shitty.
No.
Kind of basic. It was a basic bitch of a movie.
You said, pretty good. And then 2 weeks later, you're like, I don't like Megan. And I just let it go. And then the podcast, like every episode for a long time, became, I hated Megan.
Well,
I
you
hate
kept
Megan.
bringing it up.
Never brought it up again.
Every time. You're like, you know what movie's good? That Megan movie.
But I'm bringing it up now.
Okay.
Because we're going to watch
I'm kind of curious now.
along Megan.
I look forward to seeing if I was wrong. I don't think so. I think it was really annoying and really dumb.
And there may be something a little special hitting the feed before Megan Watch Along comes out next week. Because the 50th anniversary of Jaws is just 2 days away.
Okay.
And I've had a plan.
I don't know.
We'll see if we get it done. I don't know that we will get it done,
Okay.
but I think we might get it done. Because I put a lot of fucking work into it.
Okay.
So we'll see if we get it done. For Jaws' 50th anniversary. See, we covered the movie on its 48th anniversary. We did a watch along on its 49th anniversary. And I did not time that correctly at all.
So we should skip it for the 50th. And
We should do
then-
Jaws 2.
Yes, the revenge. No, which one does the shark go to like Florida and hunt them down? I want to see that one.
4.
Yeah, I want to see that one. Is that the Michael Caine one?
Yeah. Well, Pete, what'd you think of our new format?
I don't understand. I understand it less than I understand a watch along. And I don't understand a watch along.
Some of the most popular horror movie podcasts are exactly what we just did.
What are the other ones? Like, all right, I don't know.
Do you really want me to find out?
No.
Or do you want to return to our formless...
So people like that. You know,
I don't think they're going to like that
Kitty
when we
listen-
do it.
Kitty listens to a lot of these horror podcasts.
I don't think they're going to like what we did.
I got to ask her.
I played it as straight as I could.
I really don't understand what my role would be, I guess. I just sit here and listen to what somebody says.
Yeah, and then you go, ooh, ooh, that sounds scary. That's what they do.
I'm afraid I did that, and I'm afraid that sounds even dumber than normal.
I mean, I listen to this podcast too, and I enjoy them. You know what? Maybe it is they have charismatic people on them
I
are
see.
interesting to listen to. I think I've set a flaw from the get-go here.
Right. There's the rub. I understand.
That's Hamlet.
It is. No, it's not. It's Macbeth.
No, it's Hamlet.
No. Hamlet's the one who got stuck on that. No, that's Ulysses.
It's the famous Shakespeare Ulysses.
Yeah, right? From that big battle with Troy.
The tale of brave Ulysses.
Yes, the tale of brave Ulysses. I get it. That's like a tale of two cities.
Can I
But it
tell
rhymes.
you want a Nick Cage update?
Yes.
I have to constantly be thinking, always be thinking, as Ben Affleck didn't say. Because first of all, that's Glengarry Glen Ross. Secondly, it's not even the quote. I got him confused with Boiler Room.
Or was that other one with that guy?
What?
I thought it was Alec Baldwin.
It was Alec Baldwin.
Right. In that movie, 30 Rock.
Never go with the hippie to a second location.
That is the best line.
It's the best line in there.
That was Carrie Fisher, right?
It was Carrie Fisher.
That was good stuff.
I'm always trying to innovate our Nick Cage birthday, and even though we are 9 months away,
Well, you got to start planning.
preparations are already underway.
Preparation age.
Where I believe what we're going to do next time is perhaps a Jeopardy style trivia
No.
night.
Oh, no.
But I already have the first category.
Is it how cool I think Nick Cage is? Because I can get those right.
It's going to be the clue. The clues will all be movies that you'll guess that start with the letter B, and the title of it is Yes, the Bees.
You ever thought about writing for Jeopardy?
Yeah. No, I want you to think about how much I don't care about Nicolas Cage stuff, and yet last night at 2:30 in the morning, I was creating Jeopardy questions centered around Yes, the Bees. B apostrophe yes.
That's fantastic. Like,
Yeah.
that is comedy gold.
Well, only about, 11 more categories to go.
It's all right. We got 9 months.
One down.
All right. And do we have to answer in the form of a question?
Yes.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
That's the hard part.
That's going to be tough.
Not trying to remember the movie Birdie with Matthew Modine and Nicolas Cage.
Oh, yeah. It's a Modine.
It is a Modine. So I know you've been waiting a long time for this.
What now? What am I waiting for?
The present, I said, was going to
Oh, I forgot that. Your format threw me off. Okay. All right.
The format threw me off, too. I hated every second of it. Do you know how much extra time it took for me to fucking put that together?
I would imagine. I did very little work.
You did no work.
I didn't. If we ever want to do 28 Days Later, I might still have the credit check for it.
Yeah, you did work. I'm sorry. You did work on the wrong movie. I didn't know you looked at the format. I didn't know you looked at the schedules. Thought I was safe.
Out.
I've been teasing you since I met you because you're overbite. And I said, you got a big present coming up. And that present's coming in the month of July.
Okay.
The whole month. This July, you and I are going to be expanding this podcast to a more global audience
Okay.
by visiting 5 places in Asia. We're talking Japan. We're talking Indonesia. We're talking South Korea, Thailand, and a place I know we've heard a lot about, Taiwan.
What do you mean? What do you mean by going?
We're going to take in these cultures. We're going to spend a week in each place, all of July.
Seriously?
Yep. 100%.
Really?
I'm comfortable with every word I just said.
Really?
Yes.
And did Kitty know about this?
That's your problem.
Oh, okay. But you're really serious. You're not joking.
Yeah. And I'm telling you in April, even
Well,
though
what are we going to do when we're? What are we like live podcasting?
we're going to talk about a movie that's famous from that region.
All right. Well,
But next week we got to do Megan first.
okay. But
I know you don't want to do that. But then the week after, we'll be talking all about Japan. If that's the first one, I don't remember.
Okay. I don't know where we're going. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I don't know what I'm going to tell Kitty. I did almost go to a Bigfoot convention in Florida on last weekend.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was. I wanted a skunk ape. My brother went. He did not get me an autograph or a piece of the skunk ape's fur. I could probably get off work. I can get. Okay.
Definitely. I would say definitely get off work.
Yeah, Dave doesn't know. I can do that. Okay. We could probably see Ken. That's going to be exciting. I'll have to let him know. Give him a call.
Don't let him know. I wouldn't let him know.
No, surprise him. I get you. I see what you're saying.
Sure.
Okay. All right. This is, I don't know if you're serious, but if you are, I'm really getting excited now.
5 weeks. Week of Japan, week of Indonesia, week of Thailand, week of South Korea, week of Taiwan.
All right. I hope you're not. This is good. I like this. I hope you're not faking me. I like it. I'm excited, Brian. I'm really excited.
All right, well,
all right, I'm going to get right through Megan.
All of July.
Okay.
And then bring Megan watch along first.
Bring on the Megan watch along.
Mm-hmm. No, we're not going to record that obviously until much later because we got ahead on the ones we need to get ahead on. So we'll record that sometime in June.
Yeah, I don't even know what month it is now.
It's April. You know when you're sitting here, it's April.
No, that's what I meant. I didn't know what month it was now. Uh-oh. Friend's birthday.
That's why we recorded these out of order. I wanted to tell you ahead of time to get all your ducks in a row. And then we'll see you next week for Megan, but it'll be June for us. So it'll be 2 months from now.
And then we're out of here. We're blowing this popsicle stand.
Trip to Asia.
All right. I've never left this continent before. I've only been to Canada. That's the only overseas place I've ever been.
I was born in the middle of the ocean.
Yes, you're a merman.
Merman. That's actually not the merman part, but I was born in the middle of the ocean. I guess I was technically born on land in the middle of the ocean, but that's the only time I've been off this continent too. I was technically born in Portugal. I shouldn't say these things, I think, with this president.
No, you probably should. And though there is land in the middle of the ocean, it's just deeper.
There's water at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, there's land.
Carry the water. Remove the water from the bottom of the ocean.
There's land.
Letting the days go by.
Oh, I see. That's a David Lynch thing.
My favorite artists are called David, and your brother can't read. Those are the Daves I know.
That is a Kids in the Hall song.
I got David Lynch, masterful filmmaker, masterful storyteller. David Byrne, masterful songwriter, masterful artist. Dave one time asked, when the words Poland 1944 came on screen at the X-Men movie in year 2000, what's that say?
He did. It was a word and 4 numbers, and it was too much. Like, I still question, Brian, because when I see something like that, the brain just takes it in, right? Like, I don't have to engage. Sure. It's one word.
We have to make this clear. He was in high school at the time. He was not your little brother. No. Like, we had a 5-year-old tagging along with us, which is a fair question. Actually, at 5, it's not, but it's a fair enough question.
Did you know he has a college degree? A real one.
We don't.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That doesn't surprise me because I've known many people who have college degrees because most of it is just having the patience to sit there and not do anything.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it. I failed at that.
Well, you kept making me run out of classrooms by showing me sexy pictures of Marlon Brando.
You're right. I succeeded at that. Monkey, wash my back. Was that even this episode? I don't think it was.
No, I think that was an episode ago.
That was Lost Highway.
Yes.
That was Lost Hallways.
Lost Hallways, the musical.
Lost Highway, we're going to talk now about Lost Highway. Is Lost Highway a liminal space film?
Yes, 100%. It absolutely is.
Well, we cracked it months later. Or hours later, depending on your perspective. If you're us, hours. If you're you've not listened to that episode.
It could be hours. Maybe they just listen to them now.
It's all hours.
But
it's just a matter of whether it's an hour or weeks worth of hours.
It could just be one. What if they
or the hours with Nicole Kidman?
What if they listen to the last one and then listen to this one?
Do you ever realize how many people mark time by September 11th?
No.
They're like, that's when life changed, and there's pre-September 11th, post-September 11th. And that's only 3 weeks after the others came out. So I think I've been basically just doing the same thing as everyone else. It's just the meaningful thing to me was different.
So 2001, earlier or after? Was it August or September?
I think it was 3 weeks before.
Okay.
I think it came out mid-August. Mid to late August.
Interesting.
Is it?
I'm intrigued.
I kind of was too. I was like, wait, I'm marking time with just 3 weeks off with many, many other people mark time with.
Remember, I tried to come into this podcast with my watching boiling water story. So what I find interesting is...
I know. It was... I know. I ruined it. You had it all prepared.
I did.
You had your boiling water thing. You had your 28 days later notes.
I was as prepared as I get for these kinds of things.
Well, this episode will prove to everyone why we will never do this again. Unless I start thinking it's funny to do it again.
Oh, God. I'm not. All right. So you're telling me I should just stop preparing anything for any of these podcasts. Gotcha.
Well, at least prepare that Nicolas Cage knowledge for the Yes the Bees category.
I do. I got to update my Nicolas Cage
Would you like a
notebook.
sample question from Yes the Bees? Because there's no way you'll remember in 9 months anyway.
I won't. I just tried to read you 3 Nick Cage facts as I already gave you.
It's true. I didn't write them down here. I should have thought this through. I didn't write them down here. But I did write them down last night. All right, here you go. Your clue in the category, Yes, the Bees. So a Nicolas Cage movie that begins with the letter B. This 1999 action horror movie teamed Nicolas Cage with then-wife Patricia Arquette and acclaimed director Martin Scorsese.
Who is bringing out the dead?
Sorry, you didn't buzz in?
Buzz.
Yes, Pete.
So did I get the point? Did I win? Am I a winner? Am I a wiener? Am I the big wiener? 'Cause I've got a hot dog for you.
I need you to put your nonsense in the form of a question. You buzzed, you were called upon, and then your answer was, is that it? Did I win? Did I win? Am I a winner? Am I a wiener? Am I a big wiener? And you didn't put it in the form of a question. This is going to be hell when we do this for real.
I think we need to get more microphones and have a whole room full of people.
I think we have more than enough microphones. I think we are short at least 2 turntables.
The Beck scenario.
I finally got to make the Beck joke. All right. I don't even know why we didn't stop this when I finished the format.
I bet you it might be steps when we finish the format.
Did you like my fake podcast?
No.
I lost my voice a week ago. I'm running on fumes on it as I talk, and I had to put on a fake one.
Oh my God.
It was fun.
It was. I really can't believe that's what a podcast is. How do people listen to it?
How do so many people listen to it? I'm not knocking it.
I am.
I mean, I just did an entire episode specifically to knock it.
All right, I'm knocking it. I don't get it. Well, look how old I sound. I don't get many things.
That Ariana Grande is yapping at me.
High-pitched screeching.
All right. We will see you next week for the long-awaited watch-along as Pete revisits a movie he kind of liked and then decided he hated and never watched a second time.
So we're going to find out which Pete is right.
Megan, I think you're going to like it better than you remember because I watched it last night.
Okay.
And it's funnier than I remembered it being.
I don't remember it being
in
funny.
some clever ways.
I remember it being annoying. Okay.
But you don't remember it at all because when you watched it, you liked it. I've maintained the whole time. There's no reason you don't like the movie.
I guess we're going to find out. Challenge accepted.
All right. We'll see you next week for Megan and then big trip coming up.
Hells yeah.
Here we're big in Japan. It is one of the 65 countries, more than 65 countries that has listened to our podcast.
That's a Tom Waits song.
No.
It is.
No, I'm going to kill myself. See you later.